Well, this video is just informational. I probably should have done something like this at the very start, but I think for both of us, it's been a learning curve. I know a lot more now than I did 2 weeks ago when we started doing this. I'm sure you do too, on how to submit things and what you're doing. So anyway, just introducing our next unit. It's on the Industrial Revolution, and it's on chapter 21. To start, I have a little object lesson that it's not going to work as good as if you were all here, but I have some washers. Okay, there's some nuts and some big bolts here. And what I do is I would have 3 students come up and pick one from each pile, so I have 3 of each, and they would take the bolt, put a washer on, and then turn the nut onto the bolt. So that's what that is. And so after each one was completed, they would sit down and I would say, now, besides their hands, knowing what to do, the brain, the knowledge, anything like that, throw that out, okay? What allowed them to do what they just did? And of course, there's repeats of what I said not to think about, but I eventually might take a bolt off, or a nut off one bolt, and pick up another one and put a different one on that. And so in the end, what I hope kids will eventually come up with is that what allowed them to do this was interchangeable parts. For us, that's very common. You know, if you need something, you call up and you order a part, and it comes and it fits. Here's another example. So I had a tan stapler and a black stapler, and it was broken, or each was broken, so I took them apart and put the 2 working parts together. So again, very, very common, very easy for us to do today, but before that concept was made or came up with, and the person that made that was Eli Whitney, by the way, craftsmen had to make each individual part. And so it was a major advancement. There's a video, maybe I can download it and have you watch it later, that shows Eli Whitney proposing this to the President of the United States when he was making a lock for guns. And the country needed the guns, and so he proposed that. So the first thing you're going to do after you watch this little video is kind of an introductory movie for this unit, and it's called Oliver Twist. There's a quiz that I'll have you do after the movie is over. Just go onto Canvas and do the quiz. Excuse me. I was going to do another summary, but then I remembered I had a quiz. Problem with the summary is I think some of you just went out and found a little movie summary and copied and pasted. It was very obvious because some of you don't speak like that. To use the word foppish, you guys don't know what that means. And they only mentioned it about once in the movie. Or the Dauphin was the young boy. Or they mentioned a humble wayside flower, mentioned once, but some of you put that into your summary. So anyway, we'll do a quiz on this movie when it's over with. It's Oliver Twist. It was the story written by Charles Dickens, and it's about kind of a sad time, London, England. People are poor. At least it's highlighting these poor people. Focuses on orphaned children, and anyway, so that'll be what you're going to do. Some other things as we get into our next one. Again, make sure to wait till you have this. This will have four pages of notes. So wait till you get all 4, and then go ahead and take a picture, submit those into my email. It's the same as every other teacher's email. Okay, it's our first name dot our last name at millardk12.org. So it's very easy to submit those to us. If you send me a question in an email and I say, okay, try this or do this, please respond back so I know that you've at least tried it or it worked for you. And when you're doing tests or quizzes, please make sure you're ready to complete it. It has a time limit, so don't get on and think, oh, I'm not ready, and then back out and then say, hey, I accidentally clicked on it, or I forgot, or it goofed up on me or something. So make sure you're ready when you do those. Please watch the video when I'm talking about the notes. I'm going over my notes. I have extra information written down, and as you know, a lot of that will show up as maybe bonus questions on the test. So I hope they're useful. Looking at the number of views, I'm kind of wondering if I'm wasting my time, because I know some of you aren't watching those. And if you're going to learn things this way, that's the best way I can see for you to do it, is to read the chapter, do the assignments, watch the videos. I try to explain it, do quizzes. All of those things are to help you and prepare you to do well on your tests. And then also, I appreciate those of you that are being very honest. When you take the test, you're not looking at your notes, you're not looking in the book, that you've studied and you're then taking the test, because there were a few scores that I'm like, this person hasn't done any better than a D or a C, and all of a sudden, they're the high in the class. So it's pretty easy to see who's been honest, but also some of you have lower scores than what you've had before. So please, maybe a little extra study on your part, and just do the best you can, and hopefully you'll learn something from the Industrial Revolution. This one does have a lot of people's names, and so there's something I usually do in class to help the kids study, and maybe I can tell you how to do that later and show you, and I don't know if you could get together with somebody, but we'll figure that out. So thank you.